Into Math for 3rd grade, lesson 2.5. Find the area of combined rectangles, where our I can statement is I can break apart a figure made up of combined rectangles to find the area. I can multiply and add to find the area. Please gather your workbook and a pencil and turn to page 51. You can pause this video to do that and then come back. We're going to start with Spark Your Learning. Miss Lyon draws a design to represent a hallway in her school. Show 2 ways to find the area of the hallway. Each unit square is 1 square foot. All right, so you can pause this video and try this on your own and come back, or follow along with me. So we have learned that area can be found by multiplying the lengths of the sides on a rectangle, the rows by the number of squares in each row. But in today's lesson, they really want me to learn something different about how I can take a rectangle, like the one that's given, and I can make 2 rectangles. So I can kind of break it apart, and then I can find the area of each of those rectangles and put those together or add them to find the total amount. So you might be thinking, well, this is 4 rows and there are 10 squares in each row, so why don't I just find the area real quickly like that? And you would be right, but today's lesson, we want to try something different. We want to say, let's pretend like this is a candy bar, and we are going to break the candy bar right in half, and then we are going to just go ahead and color in one side of the candy bar to create a new rectangle, and the other side of the candy bar a different color to create another rectangle. So we can see that there are 2 rectangles here. After I've broken the candy bar in half, there are now 2 different rectangles, a yellow and a green. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to find the area of each of the new rectangles that I've created and then put them together to find the total amount. And this is just another way that we can find area. So the yellow rectangle has 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 4 rows, and in each row there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares in each row. So knowing what we know about area and what we've learned about multiplication equations for rectangles and area, we have 4 rows and each row has 5 squares, so we can multiply and get 20. We know that the area for the yellow square is going to be 20. So now we need to do the same thing with the green rectangle, and we find that there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 rows, and each row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 4 and 5. It's hard for me to write on that side. So we put 4 rows, 5 squares in each row, which means it's the same thing, and we get 20. Well, we're looking for the total with the black rectangle. So what we need to do then is we need to take the area from the yellow and the area from the green, and we need to put them together. So we need to add them. So we have 20 plus 20, and when we add 20 plus 20, we will get 40, making our answer 40 square feet, because that's the unit that we're using, because they tell us that up here. All right, so now let's take a look at we need to provide 2 ways. So this time we're not going to break it in half. We're going to go ahead and just go 1 over and break it right here. And then again, we will color in one side here, yellow, and the other side we will color in green. And I'm just doing this kind of quickly. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to find the area of the yellow rectangle, which would be by counting the rows. There are 4 here, and by counting the amount of squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there are 4 squares in each row. So then we can come over here and say there are 4 rows, and in each row there are 4 squares. So we can make a multiplication equation do the multiplication, and we would find that that would be 16 square feet in that yellow rectangle. Now we need to do the same over with the green, and so we count 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 rows, and we find out that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 squares in this rectangle, so we make a multiplication equation showing the rows and squares for the green rectangle, and when we calculate or we find the product of this multiplication, we will find that that is 24 square feet. All right, so just like before, we have the yellow and the green, and we need to combine them. We need to put them together, and those keywords mean that we're adding them. So we're taking the 16 that was in the yellow and the 24 that was in the green, and we're putting them together with addition. And when we add 16 plus 24, which equals 40. So again, our answer for the area is 40 square feet. Okay, so what is the area of the hallway? Well, we've answered that 2 times and shown 2 different ways, and that answer is 40 square feet. Please turn to page 52 under Build Understanding Question 1. Mackenzie draws the floor plan below to represent a music room so she can help organize the instruments. What is the area of the music room floor? So here we have a picture inside the green rectangle of what she has created. And the first question asks, what smaller figures do you see in the floor plan? So remember, you can pause this and go ahead and try this page on your own and come back, or you can follow along with me. So thinking back to what the problem we just worked on, I'm looking at this like a candy bar, and my thought would be that I see where I can break this candy bar and have 2 different shapes or 2 different pieces. So what I'm seeing in here is if I were to make a line right here and break that figure in half, I would now see a square and rectangle, 2 different pieces. So we can write our thinking in question A, and I've also colored the 2 different shapes that I've created, one in yellow, the square, and the rectangle in green. Let's look at question B. How can you find the area of these smaller figures? Well, I know that I can use multiplication to find the area of each of these figures. So I'm going to write that in, and that's really my plan, is just like before, now that I've broken them into 2 different rectangles, I'm going to multiply. I'm going to find the rows and the number of squares in each row, and I'm going to multiply those and then add them together to find the total area. So let's go ahead and find the area of the 2 figures and add them together like we've done to find the total area. And if you would like to pause and try this on your own and come back, you can do that. Otherwise, you can follow along with me now. Starting with the yellow, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 rows. In each row, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 here. So that would be 4 rows of 4 in each row, and 4 times 4 would give us 16. All right, let's take a look at the next rectangle, which is the green one, and we count there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 rows. In each row, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 in each row. So we have 5 rows, and in each row, there are 5 squares. So the multiplication equation we've created is 5 times 5, and we find that 5 times 5 is 25. But we want to find the total area of both the yellow and the green. So what we need to do is we take the yellow area and the green area, we're going to add those together. We're going to make a new equation. So we put the area of the yellow and the area of the green, and we add those together. And when we add 16 plus 25, you will see that that is 41. So we can answer question C. What equation can you write to combine, to put together the areas of the smaller rectangles? Well, we've created that here. 16 plus 25 equals 41. So that's the total area. And so the question D, what is the area of the music room floor? We can confidently write that is 41 square meters. If you would like to go back and rewatch this video, you may do so, and you may pause at any time as needed.